So we're going to have a nice symposium today. This is, as you know, this is a fallback approach to our regularly scheduled Soybean Symposium that we hold at the Arboretum each year. So we're going with the same program we developed for that meeting. We're just going to go through this on a Zoom format for you all today. So clearly we wouldn't have designed an all-day Zoom meeting for everybody had we built this from scratch, but we're just going to jump off of this thing. So largely this is going to be informal meeting today, and I think by informal we mean non-professional. No, I'm just actually, you know, the reality is we've been doing some of these Zoom webinars, but we're really just getting up to speed now due to the reliance on this kind of distance communication with folks. So we've got a number of great panelists and speakers today that have quite a bit of experience, but as a moderator, I'm a little bit new to this. I'm used to having an audience out there to react to. So I'm just going to say a few words. We've got a few people coming in. It looks like we've got about 63, 64 participants already. So they're going to be dribbling in. I'm just going to be making a few comments before we tee things off here. You know, the theme for today's meeting is all about the resiliency of our ag production systems. And this really came to light to me. I think this started, you know, several months ago when we started talking about African swine fever hitting Chinese swine herds a year or two ago, affecting demand, piled on top of demand issues related to trade with China. And now with the COVID-19 virus, a lot going on in the world that's affecting on the demand side. Likewise, there's a lot going on the production side of ag too. Between climate change and all the issues around animal agriculture here that we talked, you know, I just mentioned with African swine fever, we've got, you know, virus in our poultry industries as well that we're concerned about. So from a biosecurity standpoint on this side of the ocean, on the supply side, there's a lot of challenges. You know, so my premise here is that, you know, we've built this super efficient system, supply chain system for getting food to the people of the world. And I think the efficiency comes at some cost, and that is if there's a problem, then we create ourselves a very large problem. So you can see a lot of parallels with what we're going to talk about today relative to this whole issue around respirators and ventilators and things like that as well. But it's all tied together in kind of the same big context here. So again, this meeting is really one that we're focused on discussion-oriented topics, 30,000 foot. We're going to hit a lot of broad areas. We're not going to give you recommendations on P and K fertility for soybeans. We're not going to be drilling down on any of these things in very minutia. We're going to be taking from a very high level here today. So our intent is for folks to develop questions. We've got panel time after our morning speakers this morning. So please generate questions. Please use that question and answer button at the bottom of your screen to send us questions. We will be going through those, identifying some of the best questions for our speakers. We'll have a recording of all of those questions, of course, and we'll try to get back to everybody if there's too many questions. That's our hope, that you'll send in far too many that we can respond to. And there's an opportunity that individual speakers may be able to respond to individual ones as well. If you have technical questions, you can use the chat button, and I think you should be able to chat with us directly. If you've got speakers you can't hear, or your screen, you're having problems viewing the slides, etc., you can use that. One more detail. One thing that I generally forget to do is I forget to fit the screen. So at the very top of, once we go to speakers and they start speaking from their PowerPoints, if the scaling of those slides is not correct, there's a button at the very top of your screen probably that will be able to, you can go to a click to fit or scale it to a different scale so that you can see that, the PowerPoints in their entirety. A couple more notes. We've got a lot of assistants here in St. Paul and from their own homes and elsewhere. Dave Nicolai, Ryan Miller, and Phyllis Bongards are all helping me. So I certainly can't do all this alone from this end. We've got a lot of good technical and extension staff helping us out. So a minute over or two, but let's hit Bill Gordon. We've got an opportunity here in Minnesota this year with a rare opportunity with an ASA president as a resident and Minnesota farmer. Bill Gordon's from the Worthington area, and I'm just going to let him make a few comments. I'm going to get out of the way, and I'll let he and our other speakers fill our time here. So, Bill, go ahead.
Thanks, Seth. Yeah, it's a really great opportunity to speak to everybody today. It's exciting to be part of the system here and ASA president from Minnesota. I told people before, it really brings a highlight to the upper soybean production region and gives us an opportunity to highlight our essential amino acids and all the work that you and your team have done over the years here. So American Soybean Association really represents the whole soybean production of the United States, 300,000 soybean farmers, 26 affiliate states. And we are the policy lobbying arm of the soybean farmer, not to be confused with our counterparts, the United Soybean Board, which they do the check off the research and help fund a lot of the things the University of Minnesota does, and our Soybean Research Promotion Council in Minnesota. But we really help with all the trade issues, with the MRL issues with imports, talking about the African Swine Fever issues, all those things out in Washington, D.C. and around the world. So that opportunity to highlight and come to a symposium like this and listen to experts and help gather that information and take it back to the field really is important. And on top of that, really what Seth was talking about earlier, this high level talk is so important. Conversation becomes so important to all of us when we're out in the field, whether we're a researcher extension, whether we're a farmer, we're an agronomist, or just or a trader, like Peter Mischig's going to talk about. And we all need to be on the same page. We need to talk about soybeans and how great they are. So with that, Seth, I'll yield to some questions later, and anything else, let me know.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me get my video. You really want to see my head here. So thanks very much, Bill. Really appreciate it. It's great to have you. I know you're probably going to get back to doing taxes there. You've got to turn that big crank and get those things out. Looks like you've got a little bit more time this year. I'd maybe spread out the pain for you this year, but I hope you can get some taxes filled for the farmers out there. So really appreciate it. If you've got questions for Bill, I know he's going to have to get back to work, but please send questions for Bill. We're going to pass those on. We may have an opportunity to interact with him later or by email, but we'll get questions to him in one way or another so we can get those answered.